Hi there, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see just what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrology for January 2022. And just a quick heads up, if you're watching this prior to the 15th of December, you might want to check out my 2-hour webinar that I will be hosting on Zoom all about the major astrological and energetic shifts of 2022. And that's on Wednesday, the 15th of December at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, US and Canada. If you cannot make it, I will also have the replays available for purchase as well the day following. So again, you can always find out more information about that at my website, integrativemysticism.com, the same place you would go to get a session with me, or just follow the links below. I always leave links in the down bar below. So let's talk about what's going on with January. January has been wonderful to me because a lot of the movements are very nicely organized into first half themes and second half themes. So that's how we're going to be talking about it. But of course, I do have the dates listed on the bar on screen as well. So for people who like the dates, they're always there for you. But before we begin, I do want to remind everybody, as I did in the December monthly and the special Venus retrograde video that I put out, we've got Venus retrograde in Capricorn for the vast majority of this month, going all the way up through the 29th. And this is your 6th house of work, reputation, your schedule, the teams you're on, and the communities that you serve. And with Venus retrograde in Capricorn, there could be a lot of stories that need resolution, rectification, or even reform as it revolves around this area of your life. Venus retrograde, as I've said before, puts pressure on the cracks that are already there. And so a lot of this month is about changing your relationship you have with your work, your job, and the communities that you serve and the services that you put out there. Venus retrograde is going to, yes, bring up issues where volatility, insecurity, escapism, and instability are concerned. And this could be a month where, I'm not going to mince words, you may find that certain professional relationships that you have, whether it is with teams or maybe the relationship you have with your industry, what shows up for your industry or your client or customer base, your relationships with clients or customers, are going to need some serious assessment, because we're going to see issues that have been there all along that may just be getting amplified so that they can be revealed, resolved, and released. This is going to be a tough one, though, I think, especially in situations where some of you may feel like you are losing love for a certain corner of your industry or your field, or maybe a certain client or customer base that's become attached to you. It's okay. We are doing this to really shape things up, whip things into shape, but it may be tough on the job throughout the course of this month. We want to make sure that we are doing the work to repair and resolve in a way that is sustainable, not just cope. Now, this is going to have a lot of the edge taken out of it by the fact that we also have the sun in this area of your chart for the first half of the month. So the sun is bringing attention, enhancement, and support to you. You're going to have a lot of power to throw around, and you are going to find that you might actually be a bit divided throughout the course of this month. You're getting a lot of attention, enhancement, and support from colleagues, from peers, from allies, and even possibly new customer bases or new customer populations that are coming in that are really lifting you up, while you are also confronting the challenges of maybe the life that has been led in your field or what's been going on in your community or in your profession in recent history. Venus retrograde is really challenging a lot of trends or a lot of unhealthy norms that may have gotten their start either 2 years ago or even 5 years ago. So it's really important to see what is coming up to be confronted for what it is, but also realize that, hey, positive alternatives are also showing up for you. With the sun here, you're also becoming very popular, and you are also getting treated with a lot more respect, at least by those that are respectful, in such a way that you may be given a lot of assets, you may be given a lot of privileges, you may be given a lot of opportunities to segue out of something that you no longer belong in, a pond you've grown too big for, or maybe even start initiating comfortably some no contact policies with certain clients, customers, or peers, or populations in your workforce or in your industry or in your field or in your client or customer base you no longer want to have. And so I feel like this is going to be a time where you get to do a big sift. Just make sure that you feel you give yourself the permission to do that. Sometimes it can feel very weird leaving that side of the tracks, but you have to let yourself do it. It happens to all of us every once in a while. When it comes to Mercury's involvement here, you've got some beautiful shifts going on in partnerships and alliances as well. The first half of the month, from the 2nd through the 14th, Mercury is direct in your 7th house of partnerships, closest one-on-one connections. That's your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all the people you have your closest one-on-one ties and involvements with. Mercury is the planet of communications, haste, and speed. And what's happening here is we are speeding up the development towards a major personal partnership goal. And whether this is speeding up progress because we are bringing in more resources, we are growing faster than we thought we would, or we are finding opportunities that are nearer at hand that'll help us achieve those ends, we are getting a chance to finally sink our teeth into something that as a partnership, whether it's a business alliance or a romantic partnership or a hopeful romantic partnership, something, maybe new or recent, we are getting a chance to really make a beeline in that direction. Mercury is also going to be allowing a lot of you to start really increasing the productivity of your partnerships across the board, including friendships. When we talk about increasing productivity, right, a productive partnership, a partnership that feels like it is actually fulfilling, it's actually achieving, it's dynamic, it's adventurous. It doesn't have to be about money. It just has to be about work, fulfillment, and growth. This is going to be a beautiful first half of the month for you because with Mercury, we are not only speeding things up, but we are opening up new lines of communication. We are becoming more advanced in our communication style, and we're kind of stepping into a whole new focus or a whole new normal together. We also have Mars in Sagittarius the first half of the month in your 5th house of love, romance, pleasure, creativity, anything to do with recreation, and parenthood, your relationships with your kids. And when we have Mars in this area, that action, that driving force, the energy of passion and obstacle clearing, things are becoming a lot more excitable. Things are becoming a lot more ambitious here. And you're going to notice that that obstacle clearing is also working really, really hard on helping you and all involved in this area to clear any kind of debris from the past, knock down walls, and become a lot more dynamic in our involvements with one another. Mars in the 5th house is giving a chance for a lot more adventure and a lot more spice, however you want that to go, whether it's in maybe a creative or recreational path or aspiration that you have, maybe a big personal project that you're trying to work on. Attracting, yes, much more, let's just say adventurous partnership opportunities, adventurous and spicy partnership opportunities for you and existing partners as well as new partners if you're single or available. And also knocking down emotional walls in relationships with our kids, helping to solve problems, helping to purge shadows that could be hanging over any of these kinds of relationships. Mars is helping us to become stronger, better friends with these people, whether it's our kids, our partners, people we are being, involved in creative pursuits with, giving us a chance to have the friend we need, right? Because it's the friendship that brings longevity, that brings strength and continuity. It's the friendship that is the difference between something that is, short-term or something that is long-term. Or if you're already in an established relationship, it's the friendship that brings new adventure, new experiences, and a new sense of security. We also have a new moon in Capricorn on January 2nd, really setting the tone for the first half of the month. And this is, again, in your sixth house of work, reputation, your schedule, the teams you're on, the services you provide, and your client and customer base. And a new beginning, new cycles, and new seed planting means you are working with new populations or new work or career services that are putting you into a completely different lane than what you have become accustomed to. This can actually be very advantageous, especially if with all of that Venus retrograde energy, you are looking to actually segue out of a corner or a space you've been stuck in, or you feel like you're no longer attached to the professional future you've been working towards or working on. This new moon is helping you to create a brand new fresh break. This could show up in the form of a new role, or maybe a new customer base to acquaint yourself with, a new job, or maybe a new opening in a higher echelon of your workforce or maybe your industry. The second half of the month, we start to see things shift a little bit more with the sun moving into Aquarius, your seventh house of partnerships, closest one-on-one connections, right? The boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate. We've talked about that already. And the sun bringing that attention, enhancement, and support is all about bringing levity. And again, more bonding experiences, more play, but also a lot more let's just say stabilizing energy to this part of your life. You're going to be noticing that your closest one-on-one connections are tighter than they've ever been. People are ultimately getting into a space where we are crossing a lot of compartmental boundaries with each other, right? So we're not really dealing with pigeonhole experiences. People are becoming more involved. People are becoming a lot more supportive and a lot more talented, right? Because we're also seeing ourselves evolve into being more highly capable and responsible and evolved partners. And the same thing with our partners, with our best friends, with our companions, with our business alliances. With the attention and enhancement coming in here, this is also going to be drawing in new kinds of professional and creature comforts and home comforts to your partnerships as well, creating a new sense of sanctuary, of peace, of contentment, as well as maybe even just a new bottom line that we are all working with. And with this, there's also an opportunity to do a lot more clearing, a lot more healing when it comes to maybe even issues that may have left a mark on certain alliances or certain partnerships in the past. We have Mars moving into Capricorn the second half of the month as well. And this sixth house being occupied by Mars is a really driving force indeed, right? It's that work, reputation area. With Mars in the sixth house, as Mars is with any, work or financial sector, you are going to find that you are going to be very, very busy. We're going to be burning the midnight oil a lot in the second half of this month. A lot of overtime opportunities and a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money very, very quickly, but it may take over a lot of your life as well. That being said, this is also a highly competitive transit in the second half of this month and going well through February. And a lot of you Leo people may be finding that you are getting a chance to not only transcend certain limitations that may have been imposed on your department, on your team, on your workforce, or just on you and the services you provide in general, but you're also becoming a lot more highly visible with those that you want to work more closely with. And with Mars in the sixth house, this is also doubling up on that Venus retrograde story we talked about at the beginning of the video, where you're also getting a chance to start clearing yourself or clearing your space of problems that have actually been maybe fortified or amplified in your industry or in your workforce. When it comes to the Mercury retrograde, because I'm sure a lot of you are aware that Mercury is going retrograde this month, Mercury retrograde's behaving in kind of a funny way this month. We have the first portion of Mercury retrograde from the 14th through the 25th in Aquarius, your seventh house of partnerships. And then from the 25th through the rest of the month, Mercury retrograde is in your sixth house of work, reputation, and your schedule. So with Mercury retrograde in the partnership zone, between the 14th and the 25th. We're seeing a lot of revisits, revisions, rearrangements going on with a lot of norms or a lot of standards when it comes to partnerships. And when we say revisits, this could also be revivals and renewals, because you are getting a chance to kind of bring things back from the past with regards to partnerships, whether it's maybe activities that you used to do, old goals and aspirations you used to have with a spouse or a romantic partner, or revive happier times, maybe even pull opportunities back from the past in business partnerships, revive old services, revive old goals, revive old ways of conducting ourselves or old standards. However, this can be a bit tricky in the beginning because it also means a departure from a lot of things that you have become known for or have been working on in more recent history. So if you want it, it's there for you. This is also a time where a lot of you may be finding that, yes, old lines of communication are opening up with old partnerships, old alliances, and even old best friendships. And so this could be a time to reconnect with old BFFs, pull them back into your fold, reconnect, kind of pull that back from your roots, get that bond going again. Old business partnerships that maybe have not had a proper chance or did not have their chance back in the day are also put back on the table for reevaluation. And in existing partnerships, you may be reevaluating the future of what you want or where you want to head next. For those of you who are single or available, yes, this could also be a time where old opportunities that did not really have their chance to see themselves through or even get started may also be put on the table. After the 25th, Mercury will be retrograde in your 6th house of work, reputation, and your schedule. And all of the work we've been doing here to change how you are viewed, who you're attracting, who you're working for, and how is really getting underway. But it's going to create a bit of chaos when it comes to your business or your work or your industry or your field, because all of these revelations and all of these revolutions and all of these alterations may create a bit of a storm. Luckily, this only happens for about a week or so just be ready to ride it out. With Mercury retrograde in the 6th house, a lot of you are getting a chance to get back on a track or back on a road you much preferred to be on if you feel like you may have, in a professional matter, lost your way in the last few years or you've stayed somewhere for far too long. Finally, we have a full moon in Cancer in your 12th house of your past, privacy, your hidden zone, and unfinished business. And this is occurring on the 17th and opens up a 2-week window from the 17th of January through the rest of the month. And a full moon in the 12th house is all about climaxes, transitions, culminations. But in the 12th house, what could happen here is that this is what I sometimes call the annual breakdown, breakthrough full moon, because what happens is a lot of things that ultimately we may not feel we are done processing, or things that we have not had a chance to deal with, or things that have been hanging overhead or left a mark on us are getting purged from our life, whether we feel we have resolution or closure or not. Now, this to me is still very, very positive, because it's possible to sometimes self-impose limitations with an attachment to closure or resolution, and it serves nobody. But during this time, it can be very personally challenging because we have to go through that. A lot of old business or old issues from the past also getting cleared from your plate to clean your slate may also mean, however, you have to confront conversations or confront issues that have not been addressed properly. Sometimes this can go all the way back even into childhood, family matters, or things that you have not even looked at or addressed for a very, very long time. With that, however, we have to understand that we are just dealing with this one last time, so it'll never come back. So that is what I've got for you, Leo people. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.